Hello and welcome to another episode of One Fall WrestleCast Live. I was out of town last week. I was in lovely, sunny, beautiful, not hurricane blessed Destin, Florida. So I apologize for us not being here last week. Hey man, we got a lot to talk about though. We still have to talk about Bad Blood. Tom and I went to AEW Dynamite 5-year anniversary in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And AEW had Wrestle Dream this weekend. So plenty of things that need to be discussed. And I'm sure that plenty more things will come about as we conversate. So let's buckle up because we got a show to do.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
What's up, dude?
Nada. Been a busy week. I twisted my ankle yesterday, so I've been limping around all day, which is fun.
How to get old, isn't it?
It sucks, man. My sister's a physician's assistant. I texted her a picture, and I go, "Is this bad?" And she's like, "What is this? Like the 15th twist? You don't even have ligaments attached anymore. It's just gonna hurt for a few days." I was like, "Is that a medical opinion? What is it? Just I'm just old now and like suck it up, fat boy. Like that's it.
That part.
Suck it up, fat boy."
That part.
Yeah. Well,
she's like, "Fuck your ankle, motherfucker.
Fuck your ankle.
Buy another one, you rich motherfucker."
That's exactly what she said. She's like, "Are you gonna put a brace on it?" I'm like, "No." And she's like, "All right, then just limp around. What are you gonna do? If it's
are you gonna put a brace on it? No. Then why are you fucking bothering?
Exactly. Like, why are you bothering? Did you take any Advil? No. Did you ice it? I was forced to ice it after I walked up a hill and drove home. Yeah.
Absolute insanity. It seems like as we get older, things just start breaking just because
stuff breaks and you just drag it with you.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this.
I mean, at least you were mature enough to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, is this bad?"
I just texted her. I didn't even pick up the phone. I took a picture. I said, because it's like swollen. So I gave her the comparison. And I was like, she was like, "Does your shoe still fit?" I'm like, "Yeah, I wear low tops." So fine. All good.
I wear low tops.
All good. We walked around BJ's today, actually. We bought a.
Listen, I don't care what you do on your free time. I don't need to know about your BJ's, okay?
We get our BJ's in bulk.
Gracious. You get your BJ's in bulk, huh?
It's not my joke. It's Ashley's joke.
Well. Hey, man, so we got a lot of shit to talk about here because we have, not been around for a couple of weeks. And
we had a lot to talk about last week, and you were out of town.
Yeah, I was out of town.
Which is fine, but
it was great. Actually, I had
we got to hang out.
Roaring good time. We did get to hang out.
We just didn't get to have we didn't get to hang out digitally. We hung out in person, which was
we actually hung out for real, which was awesome. So I guess we'll just go ahead. We'll just jump right into that since that's low hanging fruit. So Tom and I attended AEW 5-year anniversary show at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at the Peterson Event Center, where University of Pittsburgh basketball plays their hoopy ball sport. It's a small, intimate little venue. Probably holds about 11,000, 12,000 folks. Give or take 1,500.
Yeah, I'd say I think it is 11,000 if they have that top bowl open.
So
and they have the people on the floor.
Yeah. And and we've attended several AEW shows at this particular venue, and every time we go to an AEW show in Pittsburgh, It's a fucking blast.
Oh yeah. I mean, we could not have had better seats. And we only paid $30 a ticket, like with fees.
Seats were wild.
Like
And
we could not have, like we were like right as it was like we were eye level with the ring. It was we were staring.
they're perfect.
We made the right decision this time to be able to stare at the Tron as opposed to like where we've been off to the side before. And it's like we were like staring at the Tron, and I'm like, oh, now this all it's even better when you can see what's on the fucking screen. I'll tell you what else makes AEW shows better. I don't have to listen to commentary. They can be over there saying whatever the fuck they want, and I don't have to hear a fucking word of it. Justin Roberts, however, does a fantastic job. I will defend Justin Roberts as I have done year after year, event after event. Justin Roberts does a fantastic job keeping the crowd into it and just being cool. So shout out to Justin Roberts. He is the best member of the announce team by far. And our tickets were sweet. They were cheap. And we got to see Will Ospreay and Ricochet kick off the show.
What a fantastic match they had.
So fun to watch live. I don't know. I didn't rewatch it.
I haven't rewatched it yet either. And I really want to do that.
It was
I really want to do that
because
I know how good the match was for us sitting in the stands. But I wanted to know how well it translated to television. I think because that's where you and I have this major disconnect when it comes to AEW, is that we don't feel like the in-arena product translates to television very well.
Well, I think part of the problem, especially with Ricochet versus Ospreay, and these guys are the two absolute best at this style of match, right? Like there's nobody better than the two of them. They're 1 and 2 at flippy stuff. But it starts to look like, especially with different camera angles and zoomed back and zoomed in, it starts to look like a floor routine between two guys. And I think you could definitely see that even live in some of the spots. But to see that live is awesome because they are performing that live, unedited, and right in front of your eyeballs. And I mean, I didn't notice any slip ups or anything like that. So I thought it was, so that in and of itself is just a cool spectacle to watch in a live setting. Now, on television and with camera cuts and with everything else, and additionally, just sort of with the track record of AEW having other guys that do that, just not necessarily as well, and us having seen that a bazillion times at AEW at this point, does it water down when you actually finally get a Ricochet versus Will Ospreay? I mean, I think live, no. I think it's a spectacle to see live. And honestly, I would say that arena was more full than, I've been watching AEW on Wednesdays. It looked more full in Pittsburgh than any AEW arenas have looked.
Now, granted, that arena was only set up for 5,500 folks.
Right.
And there was every bit of, I'd say, 5,000, maybe 50.
But that's better than the 2,000 gates that they've been having. They've been having
absolutely.
gates at the 2,500 mark for the last year. So to double that is really a nice,
even Tony Khan came out in between Dynamite and the Rampage taping and was like, Pittsburgh always delivers every time we're here. And I can't say that he's wrong. I think the only time that they really struggled was when they were up against a WWE pay-per-view, which might have been like Survivor Series.
It was Survivor Series, I think, because they were over at the Pete and Survivor, and they were over at the Pete doing Collision and whatever else they recorded with Collision. It might have been Collision and Rampage at the time. Survivor Series was happening down at PPG Paints, so it was like, well, they're gonna have they're gonna have a rough time. But it was still. I would say that the 5-year anniversary show is definitely a good show to go to. I appreciate that Tony recognizes that Pittsburgh does come out for stuff, so he does put together a kind of a big card and a kind of a big event for Pittsburgh. It's not just your regular run of the mill Dynamites. It's hey, this is the 5-year anniversary. We're coming back because Pittsburgh's always been good to us, and I think that's a nice show of respect to the town. which, I want AEW to succeed. I really do. I think I've said this 100 times.
No, I mean, we talk about it every time we fucking drag them through the mud.
I'm trying to like build up the good things that they did, right? They came back to Pittsburgh, which is a town that really does a lot for them. They gave us our hometown hero. Britt Baker came out to a massive pop. Had a great match with Serena Deeb.
And then put the entire arena to sleep because I didn't think the match was nearly as good as you did.
Well, I mean, I thought it was a fun match. It didn't go too terribly long. I don't think they put everybody to sleep, but it was a good match. It was a better match than she's been having otherwise recently.
Well, I mean, how much of that was Serena Deeb, though?
I mean, that's why you put her in the ring with the professor and not with some chooch.
Now, I have to ask, in the female sense, is a chooch still a chooch when it comes to a female, or is it
I'd say so. I don't think you discriminate. No, I don't think we or
a chitch.
No, I don't think we gender chooch. I think anybody can be a chooch, whether you're man, woman, or other. I think anybody can be a chooch, and I think that it's like calling somebody a dude. I think dude is also an androgynous term, at least to me.
I think bro is androgynous also.
Yeah, I think it's getting there. It's certainly getting there. I think us 90s.
Lots of bros.
I mean,
my 11-year-old daughter calls me bro.
That's, I mean, my 11-year-old son calls me bro. So I think it's more of a thing with like 11-year-olds, but hey, that's fine. I get it. He calls his mother bro, which is totally fine too.
I mean, my 5-year-old calls his mother bro.
I mean, your 5-year-old's hilarious though.
He calls me bro. He's like, hey, bro. What kind of cookie you got over there?
You got some cookies there?
I'm like, this cookie is flavored mine, sir.
You wouldn't like it. It's spicy. You wouldn't.
Are you sure about that?
Have you done that? Have you given him this is spicy? You wouldn't like it. Have you said that type of stuff to him?
Yeah, but I mean, he just doesn't. He lives on a steady diet of Life cereal, Go-Gurt, and chocolate chips.
Just the plain chocolate chips, or like cookies and stuff?
Just chocolate chips
out of the bag, just semi-sweet morsels, huh? Yeah. Got to respect the consistency. Not even the chicken tendies or the chicken nuggets. Usually kids are either a tender kid or a nugget kid.
He likes tendies and nuggies, but I feel like I eat more reheated tendies and nuggies than I care to admit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I have a strict 24-hour rule. If there's leftovers left in the refrigerator for more than 24 hours, it is officially dad's.
Yeah, they're yours. They're good.
Because nobody eats leftovers in this house except for me.
That's fair. That's kind of why I stopped making like full things of mac and cheese, because I can't eat like 8 pounds of mac and cheese by myself. I gotta make like.
I mean, you can. You just.
I mean, I can't. It's a bad idea. It's a lot of fake cheese. It's a lot of fake cheese. It's a lot of pasta.
And of course, they only like the craft, which is all fake.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't eat any of that. Luckily, they eat all that if I make it. So we're lucky there. So anyway, AEW. After they kicked it off with Ospreay versus Ricochet, I thought they kind of maintained a pretty decent click as far as the show is concerned. I kind of hated the ending of Ospreay versus Ricochet, but here we are 2 weeks removed now, and I see why. Because
it's still bullshit. I mean,
it is. But then they had their they had the triple threat, and Takeshita walked away at Wrestle Dream with the title. So, I mean, that was cool too, to I guess add him to it and to sort of protect everybody, because but same thing like with a triple threat like that, it feels like nobody ever gets over in a triple threat, and despite them moving the title to Takeshita, nobody really looked bad one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
It's maybe a little too protecty.
Yeah, it was very Vince McMahon-y.
Yeah, very Vince McMahon-y. And I think that it's, I feel like
that's because Shane McMahon's got the pencil now. Didn't you know that?
Is that confirmed?
No, it's not at all. But I just want to be part of the shit pot that's just over here, just
Shane McMahon's writing wrestling now
stirring up the witch's brew.
Because obviously Shane would write it exactly like his father would.
Yeah, because that's all he ever wanted was for his dad to be proud of him.
Yeah, he would write it. He would exactly the same way.
Yeah, exactly. It makes all the sense in the world, sir.
Yeah,
for
sure.
All the sense in the world. I don't know, man. It was good to get to see some things. Something we didn't see was Sammy Guevara taking a nosedive and having to be stretchered off. We were dealing with the parking situation there in Oakland. Made us miss the Ring of Honor taping. Not that we were really trying to be there or see there. So
we weren't that excited for the Ring of Honor taping. If I'm being honest.
We really weren't all that excited for the Rampage taping either until we got to the Dynamite, and then they were setting up the matches for the Rampage during the Dynamite show. And I mean, we got a couple of chances to see some folks.
Yeah, we did. And so it was the Rampage taping. I don't feel like Rampage was bad for a Rampage. Who they let what, Queen Amanita squash the local girl?
Yeah.
Is that her? I let her do that. That sucked. I don't know. There were a lot of run-ins on Rampage too. It was
well, everybody got to get paid, bub.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of Rampage, it was like, all right, I've seen enough.
Yeah, I didn't even think we didn't stay for Jericho and Briscoe.
No, we didn't. We were like, I'm good. Well, because that ended in a no finish anyway, because they did that again at WrestleDream.
Maybe it wasn't Jericho. No, there was a tag.
It was Mark Briscoe. Yeah, it was Mark. It was a tag match with Mark Briscoe and Jericho, and it was like him. It was like Jericho and Big Bill and Mark Briscoe and somebody else they threw into a stable with him because
we did the Pittsburgh staple, like when the score's out of reach, beat the traffic.
Yeah, exactly.
We had to get out there and do that.
Well, I mean, we all had to work in the morning. At least I did.
Well, I had to get on a flight, which was awesome in and of itself because 5:30. My plane boarded and I had to be at the airport at 3:30, to do all the stuff. And Pittsburgh International's not had a great track record here in the last 16 months of getting people through TSA. However, we coasted right through and I had a whopping hour and 40 minutes to kill, maybe longer. But on the bright side of that, Pittsburgh International was a pro wrestling hotbed on Thursday morning. Yes, sir. It was. I actually met the Young Bucks, had a quick 2-3 minute interaction with them, told them that I thought the show was really good. They said thanks, asked me where I was headed, what specifically I enjoyed about the show the night before. I put them over and I told them that they were the greatest tag team in the history of AEW.
Oh, did you really?
And
I mean, that's
Nicholas.
Not really.
Nicholas was very.
Oh, he was.
And
he smiled at you.
I saw Sunil Singh.
I mean, how do you miss Sunil Singh?
Listen, and I'm glad that you said that because, I saw a lot of folks, and I'm going to tell you all the folks that I did that I ever did see. I really only interacted with the Bucks. I did almost fall in Jeff Jarrett's lap as I was getting on the plane because I tripped over the lady's backpack strap that was sitting in front of him because it was very, very much so in the aisle. And he said, "Whoa there, big fella. I don't want no heat." And so that was a lot of fun. Jeff and his wife Karen were on my flight, my Southwest flight from Pittsburgh to
Karen Angle.
Yes. Karen Jarrett. Uh-huh. My 25-minute flight from Pittsburgh to Nashville. So that was funny. My wife said, "Hey, is that Hulk Hogan?"
That's not funny, Lindsay.
That's what I said. I said they really don't like each other.
That's not funny. Not only are they not like each other, nobody likes Hulk Hogan.
So, but anyway,
Iron Sheik.
Sunil Singh. Okay, kudos to him. All right, because he knows that he can't hide. That motherfucker had every piece of his attire had the AEW logo on it. He had an AEW hat. He had an AEW hoodie. He had an AEW pair of sweatpants.
Good for him.
And he just had to lean in. I never saw an undercard nobody take so many pictures at 4:00 in the morning as Sunil Singh did.
I mean, the dude's only 7 feet tall, and you can't
teach that. As a matter of fact, I saw Big Bill also, who I'm assuming was running extremely late for his flight because Big Man had some feet.
Big Man was moving.
Big Man was moving in his Jordan 2s, which I thought was very interesting choice of footwear for a man that large, because I don't know that I would be rocking Jordan 2s. And this coming from the guy that solely rocks Jordan 1s on a big on a big body Benz. But he was getting the job done. I saw Mariah May walking through the airport. Talked about the Bucks, talked about Jeff Jarrett. I also saw Jay Lethal walking through, and
I feel like Jay Lethal can get away. Like, he is just not famous enough that only like the biggest wrestling fans like it, especially like he's got a hat on or something. He's like,
he definitely had a hat on, and he probably would have got past my radar had he not thrown some gang signs up at Jeff Jarrett as he was walking past our gate. So he might have gone unnoticed.
He may have he may have cooked his own goose there, is what you're saying.
Yes. Because I was like, what the fuck is that guy doing? And then I looked a little bit harder, and I just kind of looked over my shoulder, and Jeff Jarrett was laughing. And then I realized that it was Jay Lethal. So it was fun. It was fun to get to see all those guys after we had just watched a lot of them, and kudos to me for not being mega fanboy, even though I think everybody thought I was going to when I started pointing everybody out. And my wife was like,
"Do you want me to take 4 in the morning?"
My wife was like, "Do you want me to take a picture of you and those gentlemen?" And I said, "Those are the Young Bucks, Lindsay." And no, because it's 4:30 in the fucking morning.
And I haven't had and Nicholas.
I haven't had coffee yet, and I'm fairly certain neither have they. So they're just trying to get home from work, babe. Like, I don't want nobody taking my picture on my commute home either.
Matthew and Nicholas.
But they were super gracious. Like I said, gave me a few minutes of their time. I just simply just said, "Hey guys, really enjoyed the show last night. Thanks so much for coming to town." And I was, "How you doing? Keep it moving." And like I said, Nicholas was like, "Oh man, thanks." But like, what did you like about it? So I thought that was really cool.
Very EVP of him.
Yeah. It was, but it was a nice little change of pace because me, I talk about like how I tend to interact with talent when I see them in public, and it was very much that I just, they were the first ones that I saw. And I just figured that they were going to be the only ones that I saw for whatever reason, and interacted with them. It was a nice little 2-3 minute interaction, and we were on our way. And then I just kind of didn't say anything to anybody after that, except for whenever I almost fell in Jeff Jarrett's lap, and he said, "I want no heat, big fella." And I called him a slap nut and went about my day.
Thanks, slap nuts. Nice.
So good.
Wonder how often he gets that.
I don't know. I don't know.
I bet he doesn't get it as much as he used to.
I mean, he laughed. So I mean,
it's funny.
He probably thought that I tried to fall on him on purpose after I did that. But no, the little old lady with her backpack strap. I almost killed 2 people at the airport because this little old lady was in front of me on the people mover, and as we got to the end of it, she realized that she didn't have her tired legs underneath of her, and she stutter stepped as she was coming off the people mover, which caused me to have to slam on the brakes coming off the people mover. If not, it would have been me, her travel companion, and possibly the 6 people behind me that would have gotten severely injured coming off the people mover. So kudos to the big man for the quick feet.
Yeah, good job. You saved somebody's life.
I saved a lot of people's lives, including my own. So
You'd have been fine.
There's that.
I've been on the other side of that train when it's going. It's not. It's much like when Keith Lee pounced Adam Cole into the third row in at NXT that one time. So, but yeah, it was a good time. But I thought AEW was a good time. I had fun, and I would go again. Like I said, I want them to do good. And I like that Adam Cole is back now, baby. And
MJF is back.
MJF is back. So hopefully this is the
least interesting man in the world has signed a contract extension.
Yeah, the other least interesting man turned heel. But yeah, the least interesting man in any room has signed an extension. So that's unfortunate for everybody.
And allegedly AEW outbid WWE for Daniel Garcia's services.
I feel like that's just Triple H trolling. Like, there's no good reason why that anybody should bid for Daniel Garcia. He is that guy is more like he is more devoid of charisma than anybody I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, he makes Wheeler Yuta look like a charismatic motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Like, who hurt you? You know what I'm saying?
Who hurt me? I had to watch fucking Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta have like a feud where they were like, oh my God, this is like the second coming of Rock and Hogan or Rock and Austin. I'm like, oh my God. It was the worst. So
I'm sure it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't the worst, but it was just
I didn't watch pay-per-view, you know.
You ever watch stuff that's super cringy and go, ugh, used to have secondhand embarrassment?
Yeah, this show every week.
This show is really good.
I know that, but you know, I'm a mark for myself if I say that it's really good. You know what I mean? Like,
it's really good. I get enthralled in it every time I start listeing to it, and it's fucking
and we already know what happened.
It's me. I already know it. I said it.
Spoiler alert.
I said it. What's our next little topic of discussion?
I mean, we're just going to keep it moving. We're going to jump into Wrestle Dream here, I suppose, even though I didn't really watch it, but I know what happened.
I watched some of it.
You know, it's
hard.
It's hard to justify for me. Speaking of main events, we didn't talk about the fucking oddest stipulation in the history of AEW television.
Oh my God. What
title versus title, but only for the first 20 minutes with a 35-minute overrun. You know, and I want to circle back to that overrun here after we talk about the Dynamite 5 stipulation. You know, the International Championship, right? Is that the Continental Championship? Which one is Continental Championship is only on the line for the first 20 minutes, and we knew that wasn't going to go anywhere. We knew that wasn't going to be a thing, and the way that Okada stalled for the first 9.5 minutes, just locking up, breaking, going through the ropes.
I mean,
sliding out underneath.
That sucked the air out of the building. I mean, that's good heel. That's good heel work, I suppose. But at the same time, it's almost like one of those things where it's like, why would they? This is the dumbest stipulation I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah,
why would it be? Oh, it just didn't. I don't know.
I would have rather them had a schmoz finish in this match.
Yeah.
And those two titles just be title for title. It would have been super predictable, but I think that it would have been less convoluted and a little bit more enticing to make you really want to pay attention to what was going on. And then Okada's antics early on in the match would have meant that much more.
Yeah.
As opposed to, well,
I
we
mean, it
know
was kind of a schmoz finish anyway. I mean, I know Brian won, but like at the same time, like, the rest of, the Combat Club came out still and was like,
hey,
still standing.
Cesaro looked fucking shocked.
I mean, the guy's looked like a superhero the entire
I
time.
don't know that I've ever seen him in person, in human.
I don't think I have either, but yeah, he's a huge individual. He is built like a superhero.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't understand how he looks like that all the time. At no point does he look, and he's what, 45 or so? At no point does he ever look like he's missed a day at the gym, eating a hot dog. Like he looks fucking shredded all the time. So kudos to him.
Dogs.
Yeah, I fucking love hot dogs. I don't look like Cesaro though.
No, I mean, nobody does, bud. Except for he's 43, by the way.
Okay, I was gonna say he's older than we are.
Friend of the show, Pat Martin. That's how I was built when I was 19. I don't believe that, sir.
I mean, that's not how you're built at 43, pal. I mean, none of us are, but that's just not how that goes. I mean, fuck.
But yeah, the stipulation, man, it just was fucking just
the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. When they announced that, because they announced it days early, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Who is like, why don't we just tell people what we're gonna do?
I think we talked about it on the show before we went,
because we already knew what it was. This is the stupidest shit.
I mean, and it played out exactly like we knew that it was going to.
Yeah,
however, right, you scratch and pull, pump the brakes, and then you hit the fast forward button, and things played out the way that I don't think any of us assumed they were going to. When it comes to Bryan Danielson,
what, losing to Mox?
Yeah, I didn't really see that happening.
See, I was pissed when that happened because I did watch that. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding. This is what Swerve lost for? Like this? For this. We made Swerve lose for this so that Bryan Danielson can hold the title for fucking, what, a month and a half. And
I didn't even think it was that long, bro.
I want to say it was like 50 days. So it was, yeah. It was not very long, like a month and a half. Like, this is why we beat Swerve for this. We beat Swerve for this. So, I mean, I don't know where it's going to go. I kind of like where they're building Moxley and everybody up. And I appreciate that Wheeler Yuta turned. I still think he's like a vacuum of charisma, but I mean, his turning, I think was correct. I think Marina Shafir's been fantastic in the role she's in, kind of the like China role. I think she's been doing a great job with that. But
we have one of those on Monday Night Raw also.
We sure do. But I'm kind of feeling like I feel like they did it too soon. It was like if this was where they were going to end up, like it happened too soon. Like he should have beat Mox and ran away still. Like he should have lived to fight another day. And then, Mox had to climb his way back up by doing dastardly shit. Give this more legs. But I feel like they just rushed it because this was like the money match. And, they need eyes on the product. And they're like, well, we're putting it back on Mox. And I don't know if maybe there's something backstage and like Danielson really does want to retire like quicker than General. But they were like, no, we need you to have a title run and blah, 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 blah. Because there's only been, 9 AEW champions at this point?
Something like that. But I mean, Moxley's been 3 of them.
4. His 4th reign.
Is this his 4th?
Yeah, because remember he and Punk traded it back and forth like twice.
Oh yeah, that shit was fucking ludicrous.
Yeah. So it's 3 legitimately, but like he has an extra one
because according to Punk, Moxley didn't know what Rocky 4 was.
Right. So there was like a weird disjoint there, but it is what it is, I suppose. But anyway. I don't know. No, I'm not a fan of how any of that went down. I think
me neither. We sacrificed Swerve for a story,
but not a good one.
But it's a story. This is what we complain about, is that every week that there's no story, there's no continuity.
Sure, okay, you're right. They did give us some continuity, but
We're
it was
getting
also,
some story here, bub.
but couldn't you write a better story? Like a little bit?
Hey, man, Rome wasn't built in a day.
I mean, that's the point, though. They just nailed some shit together and called it Rome.
Oh my
They pulled out a cardboard box,
God,
cut a
like
couple
I
holes,
don't
and
understand.
we're like, "This is
Like,
Rome."
You
That's
are
Rome.
the most pessimistic, optimistic human being that I've ever met. In my
Oh, wait
life.
till you hear what I have to say about Bad Blood.
This ought to be interesting, but I think that we're turning a corner a little bit here in AEW.
I think we're trying to. I mean, I hope it gets better. Like, this better not be the pinnacle of it.
But the pinnacle.
There's enough. You want to talk about wasted potential? There's some.
Yeah, that didn't. Yeah. Yeesh. It's all right. The chairman, Sean Spears, is now in WWE.
Yeah, but he had another baby, so like
The baby.
But he had another baby, so like it's he hasn't been on TV in like 2 months.
Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick.
trick.
Get him. Whoop, whoop.
Honestly,
I
I don't think NXT needs him. Like NXT's cooking.
Does that mean that Ethan Page is going to the main roster?
I think so.
Yeah. So much for that 14 months, huh, bub?
Yeah, no, he's going to main roster. I think so. I mean, I could fantasy book all I want, but God, it sure seems like he's going now. I mean, I just calls it like a season. It's not a like predict. It's this is just what it looks like.
I can't wait until we get into some WWE chatter here, because I have so many things that I can't wait to cue you up on. It's going to be so much fun, but we are not done with Wrestle Dream. Obviously the main event was what it was, and I don't think that either of us agree with or
honestly, it took the wind out of the sails for everything else for me. I thought I was just like, this is bullshit. Like it took the wind out of everything else.
But I mean, your two favorite AEW folks have
back
returned.
Yeah,
Adam
I
Cole,
like that.
Bebe, and Mr. Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
I like that, and I like that
they knows it.
They seem like they're in a program together now. Although it seems like
we've got to get that payoff.
But it seems like Adam Cole's going to be the baby face in this thing. Like, I'm very confused with how does Adam Cole come back after being the devil and having Wardlow, like him putting Wardlow out, like to put a hit on the AEW champion, then Wardlow gets hurt and he's out. I mean, it just, this whole devil storyline, like it all blew up in everybody's face, and they're just kind of like, well, let's just pivot and do it this way, and hopefully everybody forgets where we ended up. And we just start over. Adam, you're the baby face. MJF, you're the heel. Get at it, fellas.
Well, here's how I see it going down, right, Tom? This is the only way that I can see that we gotta make buffalo chicken dip out of canned chicken. You understand what I'm trying to say here? Okay, like MJF is the sour cream. No, cream cheese. So much more rich. Okay, he's what kind of melds this whole thing together, right? And then we bring out Adam Cole, baby. Woo, yeah, right. He's chicken. He's the can of chicken. He's not really that good, and he's a little dry. All right, and maybe he's got potential to be something great. Okay, but and then you just throw it all together, and then you just mix it up, and then you put some heat on it, and then chips. Gotta have chips.
Forgot about the cheese. Is that the rest of, I don't know, the undisputed, is that still a thing? The undisputed whatever guys?
I don't know, bro. That's what I'm trying to say.
I feel like they were just on TV, the Undisputed Kingdom. They were just on like Saturday. But without Adam Cole.
Baby. Yeah, so like I don't know, right? And it's like that's kind of where we're at right now. I think that those guys probably want some sort of payoff, but like you said, everybody's been hurt. It's been over a year since the Devil storyline revealed itself, and that at the time was the best thing happening in AEW.
Yeah, it was not this past summer, but the summer before.
Yeah, so like they're trying. I would imagine that they're going to try to pick up the pieces of what was a very, very well laid story and very well thought out plan.
It made AEW worth watching week to week.
Yes.
At least that segment. At least it was worth seeking out that segment week to week, at the very least. And and that was when we were like, man, they should really weave that through the show to make people watch the whole goddamn show and not just that segment on YouTube.
Which I believe is still a problem with AEW.
Absolutely.
But I think that I don't know what that's going to look like. I suppose that we'll probably get some answers to that on Wednesday. When Dynamite goes live, and we can maybe have a little bit more of a intelligent conversation concerning the direction of MJF and Adam Cole after Wednesday. That is if either of those guys make the trip, because like you said, everybody's part-time these days in AEW.
Maybe, they have not yet been announced for Wednesday.
Not that AEW ever announces anything, really.
Right. Maybe they'll be on Saturday. Who fucking knows? I don't know, man. It's really hard to kind of decide that oh, maybe I'll like this. And then it's almost frustrating because when you're like, oh, this is cool. And then you tune in the next time to the next show and they don't touch on it. And you're just like,
yeah, that is frustrating.
Why am I the one thing that I'm like, this has got me hooked. Let me see where this goes. Turn on the show. It is non-existent. And you're just like, what the fuck? And I feel like AEW does that a lot. And I feel like that's why they've bled fans a lot, because they've disappointed people with, people going, oh, I like what's going on. Let me tune in again. And it being a non-issue or just being a dropped storyline. Right. And WWE did this too. But this is a very current.
Vince was too busy out there pooping on people, whether it was.
But they were bleeding ratings
or involuntarily.
But when WWE did this too, they bled ratings. So I really think that AEW needs to learn from both their own and WWE's mistakes and not do shit like this. Because that's the one way to get people to not tune into your product. Disappoint them by building something up that they want to see and then not touching on it or forgetting about it. That's like a wrestling no number one.
You're telling me that you don't enjoy when they trot Shibata out there instead of MJF and Adam Cole?
Oh my God. The only reason I would enjoy if they trotted Shibata out there would be if they nailed him to a cross and stabbed him with a
okay. Oh, okay.
That would be the only thing that would make me enjoy them trotting Shibata out there. Okay.
You can't say these things, Tom. I don't know how many times I have to tell you.
Can say it they could telling me a guy in a robe can say this shit on Sunday, but I can't fucking say it on a Monday night about a guy that I dislike.
What am I going to do with you?
I don't know. Let me stick my fingers in his stigmata after they crucify him.
God, it's the fucking it was a symbol, okay? It was the symbol.
I think AEW needs to just totally go for it. Bring out a whole ass cross. Make Shibata carry the goddamn thing.
No,
make him carry the goddamn. Make him fall twice on the way to the ring. Fall twice. Women have to cry at his feet and wash his feet with their hair. And then we can nail him to that cross in the middle of the ring, and we just watch him die. Right?
I just
watch him die.
I just don't understand why you have to do these things.
And then he can come back on Saturday.
Why don't we just throw him off a building and bring him back the next day? That works too. Yeah. Use the steps and just
give him
poke his eye out and give him an eye patch for a couple of weeks. It worked for fucking Tongaloa. And Rey Mysterio, which is really who we were alluding to, in case you went over your head a little bit.
Baron Corbin murdered Rey Mysterio, just fucking murdered him.
the Giant fucking fell off of a whole ass skyscraper and worked later that night.
Sure did. Vince
You know?
McMahon blew up in a limousine.
Yeah, but they had to backtrack on that though because something happened.
Yeah, it was me, Austin. It was me all along.
Wild. You're absolute insanity, sir.
Okay.
Friend of the show, Pat Martin, Tom going off. Oh, nail him to the cross and comes back on Saturday. Like, Pat, you're not helping, bro. You know, like, you're just not helping.
Tell me that would be a compelling storyline.
I mean, it might be. They'd be a story. At least they would. You know, they try. They try.
I'm giving them ideas over here.
All right. Let's shift gears away from AEW. Okay, we spent the first 45 minutes of the show talking about AEW. Sean's gonna give me an earful on fucking on Thursday that all we do is talk about AEW anymore. He doesn't understand why all we talk about is AEW. We never talk about WWE anymore. You know, and then I'm gonna have to stand there and take it like a chooch, because he's been kind of right. So. Sean, this second half of this program is just for you, buddy. Okay. I mean, it's not really just for you, it's for us too. But Sean, don't be fooled by the title. Okay. I'll put it in the description. Sean, don't be fooled by the title. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Interesting couple of weeks in WWE, leading into Bad Blood. We got some things put together. We've got some feuds that, you know, we got some angles that didn't really make sense.
Couple blow-offs. They went okay.
Got a couple blow-offs. So let's go ahead and get into Bad Blood, and I want to go ahead and start right at the tippy top. Okay. And we kicked off the show with the Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. And yes, sir, say it again.
The Walt was right match.
Ears need to hear it.
Walt was right.
The Walt was right match, because leading into this pay-per-view, I looked at Tom and I said, Tom, I got a feeling that this Hell in the Cell between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk is going to be one of the most brutal Hell in a Cell matches that we have seen in a very, very, very long time. WWE has done a very, very, very good job of building up this blood feud between CM Punk, this personal blood feud.
You believe they
CM
hate
Punk
the shit out
and
of
Drew
each other.
McIntyre, and like you believe that they hate each other, even like though the kayfabe picture came out. Both of these guys have gone on their respective media tours and said, "Hey, man, like you don't walk into your place of employment and want to walk right up to the guy that you have a fucking problem with and punch him right in his mouth every time you see him. No, you got to do your fucking job and shut the fuck up." And they blasted right through that kayfabe picture, and really, really laid it in that they don't like each other. And I'm sure that there is probably a little bit of IRL heat between the two of them.
I don't feel like you can do what they did as well as they did without a little bit of that. And I'll tell you the point where I go, Walt was right. When CM Punk throws that toolbox up and smacked Drew in the head, and Drew comes back gushing, like spurting blood, I was like, staples, bro. I was like, Walt was right. Like, there's the gusher.
When Punk bladed, okay, and Punk bladed.
Absolutely. Drew did too.
No, Drew did not. Drew was hard way. And if you watch that again, okay, now that you know that, Drew was hard way. The latch, the little metal latch that keeps the lid down, was ajar. And when Punk, the latch hit here, and the corner hit here, and it went 16 staples Drew McIntyre had to get to close that head wound. 16 staples.
Yikes.
That's a lot of staples, bro.
That's a lot of staples.
That's a lot of stitches. 16
Remember-
stitches is a lot of stitches. 16 staples. My mom had 2 liver transplants. Okay, and to close the surgical incision was only 24 staples.
And that wasn't her head.
No. So let's talk about the severity of 16 staples. My man, and then it seemed like it kind of stopped. Maybe he got some hair in there. They might have packed something in there off camera, like smashed it with some Vaseline or something. Punk took that wrench later on and just drove it right into that hole.
Yeah.
That bitch started gushing again.
That hurt.
Extremely brutal Hell in a Cell match. And I want to also say, what a goddamn masterpiece.
I mean, they really went for it. And at no point did they never stopped going for it. And I think that's sort of they're wiping blood out of their eyes, throwing punches. And I'm not generally a fan of stuff like that, but this was like,
you are not.
They built it so much that like there was no way else it could have gone. Like they were talking about killing each other going into this. Oh, thanks, Pat. I'm a Pat fan.
I won't leave that up here very long.
But this is like they were ready to kill each other, and you believed it. CM Punk screwed Drew, and Drew hurt CM Punk so many times. Like it was just the way they did it was masterful. And then the match they put on was just like they were like, we're just gonna go. If one of us is dead, it's gonna be great television. And that seems to have been like
that's how it felt, right?
And it was every bit as good as it should have been, and it was every bit as brutal as it should have been after that build.
You know what my favorite part of the match was?
My favorite part was wiping the blood and then throwing a punch. But
my favorite part of the match was when the velvet bag came out. And everybody came to their feet. And Michael Cole, what the hell is that? What does he have? Right? And it's like, you've led everybody to believe that is a bag of thumbtacks.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what every single human in that arena thought that was a goddamn velvet bag full of thumbtacks. And when this corny motherfucker pours the beads out, right, I popped. A little bit of levity in an extremely brutal situation with lots of blood, lots of violence.
Did you notice they changed the whole ring pad? That's why it was a long time, because they took the whole ring pad off, put a whole new one on.
Take the thing up, and it was what a perfect way to open the show, though. Absolutely perfect way to open the show.
It's too bad the middle of the show didn't live up to a lick of that.
And that's kind of where I'm at with it as well, right? Moving forward.
Every match had a run-in moving forward. Like, I don't understand how you fuck that up so bad that every fucking match has a run-in.
Felt very Tony Khan.
Oh my God. Every fucking match? Every last one had a run-in. Like,
we had to expect it from the Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley match. Like, we knew there was no way that was ending clean. Not a fucking chance in hell.
I do like that Raquel came back, and apparently that was a botch. Where
it looked pretty bad, bud.
Apparently it was a botch. The ref shouldn't have seen it,
right?
And like
allegedly,
but I don't mind the DQ versus the like Raquel helping Liv actually pull off a W. I actually think I prefer in just in W wins and losses. I think I prefer what that seems to be, because it kind of puts, because Liv's the champ. She doesn't have to win the match. She just has to not get pinned or submitted. And I think that
But I
really
think
plays into
too,
it.
from the standpoint of kayfabe and the way that I think that pinfall victory means more in the official sense
Sure.
of wins and losses, and they might have been able to have moved past this.
But I feel like it in the heat department, it just gives so much more heat for that to be a thing. And
No arguments.
and I think that it's we'll see how it ends up playing out, but I would almost call it a happy accident. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how they pivot. But I think they've got. I think Liv's going to have more heat. Dom's already nuclear, but like I think it was good. I love that Dom fell out. Like there was so much that went right in this match.
Oh my God, the dirty Dom Yada.
Yeah, when Dom fell out, hanging by a chain. So the whole match, I'm going, why the fuck is there a chain in there? Why is that chain? What's going on? I didn't realize he was chained up in they chained him in there, and he fell and he's hanging there. Oh my God, that was the visual of that and all of that. And kudos to Dom Mysterio for just like selling that. Like the guy is a legend. I fucking love Dom. I love booing Dom. Dom is doing some of the best work any heel has ever done.
Man, you remember a couple of years ago when that motherfucker come on the scene, white meat babyface debut match against Seth freaking Rollins. Lil Derek took fucking Dominic Mysterio to fucking task.
Sure did.
And then months later, we had a very heated debate about Rookie of the Year. And you and I felt very strongly for Dominic Mysterio, and Derek felt very, very strongly about sending Hook. And one of those things is not like the other as it stands on October 14th, 2024.
We were very right about Dominic Mysterio. Regardless of what happened, regardless of what happens with the rest of Dom's career, like he's just been unbelievable. And his heel run has been I'm astonished at how well he's been able to maintain heat. And not even maintain heat, like be a heel, still get booed, and then even like when everybody around him who is also a heel like gets too much of a heel that they have to turn babyface, like then him turning babyface more or her turning heel more. Like it's such a like he's doing everything right, and every time he's on, he's captivating. It's must-see television, and he is everything I love. Everything I love about wrestling, he's doing.
Yeah, and the heat is real, brother.
So
I would love to be in one of those arenas. I think we might get the chance here in the next coming months. I know that there's
they're coming over the holidays, and I think it's
the holiday house show loop, which is always fucking just insanity. Because they throw all of their top tier main event talent at that tour. I'm willing to bet that we're probably going to get a little bit of Dominic Mysterio with a microphone in his hand.
Well, ours is a Friday. Ours is the one in Pittsburgh is a Friday. So I'm like, is it going to be?
I do not believe that it is a SmackDown.
It's not. I don't think it is either. It's not listed as a SmackDown, but it's a Friday.
Well, then maybe we're getting Raw talent only then.
I don't
know. We'll have to see. But I am planning on taking the boy to that one, and possibly his mother and his sister. So we may need to.
We can coordinate that. We'll figure it out.
Yes. Because I would love to.
I mean, if you're bringing the boy, I mean,
I would love to get him specifically to a WWE show, and I had the conversation with my wife a couple of weeks ago that it's like, hey man, like I know that this isn't your thing, but like, I wholeheartedly believe that if you go and you sit and you exist in that space and you just be, you'll have a whole new respect for what happens.
And you'll have a really good time. That's like, even if after the fact she's still like, wrestling sucks, but she'll have a really good time.
Especially on them $14 beers.
I mean,
hey, so for the record, I was reviewing the bank statement yesterday, right? I was like, man, what is this? $13.87 charge. Oh, there's another one. Well, there's another one. Well, there's another one. And it was like Charlotte. It was like Charlotte, North Carolina, Pitt, Univ. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? I was like, oh, those are my beers. $13.89. It was not the $14 that we were perceived to have spent.
No, they were not. But it was okay. It was by weight.
Yes. I said, how's this thing work? She goes, oh, they're weighted. But there's 12 of us in here.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. That was if that's how it actually worked, I am astonished because they got it right. At least the number.
No, they just charge everybody $13.89.
Every time
you get a $12, you get a $12, a $14, or $16 beverage. You're getting charged $13.89.
That's what it was. They just averaged it out at the end of the night, and they were like, $14.89, $13.89. Everybody spent that once.
Oh God. But it worked, and I'll tell you what, we didn't have to fucking wait in line. So, kudos to the University of Pittsburgh Peterson Event Center. At least you got something right. So moving on from the shark cage match in the Damiata, we had a very, very snackable Nia Jax versus Bayley for the Women's World Championship. Why do people think they can get a match out of Nia Jax?
I don't know, but it was not great. She botched. I don't know why they tried to be like, let's let Nia Jax do a Hurricane Rana. Because that went
sideways. Literally.
Commentary tried to sell it as best as they possibly could. I feel like. And
I missed it, and then they showed it again.
Yeah.
And I was immediately like, I don't know that this is a replay that I would be proud to show.
No. I feel like you would just let commentary kind of glaze it over a little bit.
Sell it, glaze it, move on.
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme donuts in this bitch when it comes to Nia Jax doing Hurricane Ranas.
And then we probably don't talk about it if they just don't show the replay. Because, they showed the replay in slow motion. And it was like, oh, she had no business trying to pull off a Hurricane Rana there. And none. And it just that one also ended in a run-in. It was Tiffy time.
It's Tiffy time. Friend of the show, Pat Martin, says, I want Tiffany to cash in soon and beat Nia. I think they're building that, right, Tom?
I mean, they've been building it longer than Bryan Danielson was the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. So, yeah.
The internet has officially been triggered. Tom's trolls. Hey, man. Like, I don't understand, man. Like, why you got problems with us?
Where's my lighter? I haven't filled this lighter in weeks. Let's see if
your trolls, your haters, Tom. You just steady gas them up.
I need to put more butane in that. But yeah, it's they've been building it pretty well. I hate that Bayley's part of the build, because I wanted her to win, but I think that's more of a me problem.
Yeah, it's definitely a you problem. I think that she's very much in a position where she's being asked to help build Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, and I think that's correct. But literally at any point in time, if Bayley wins the championship, like, one, it totally is going to make sense, and two, I'm totally going to pop for it. Whether she's a heel or a babyface, I'll just be like, wow, yeah.
So. Did you see that she came out to the ring a couple of weeks ago, and they ran the Damage Control video package behind her?
But she got her music, but yeah. Whoops.
Well, I mean, even the WWE fucks up, and this show was case in point. Yeah, so moving on from that, we also got what the fuck else did we get?
Was it Jay? No, Jay didn't defend. He wasn't even there. I don't know. I don't know what else we got. We got the main event, which was Solo.
We got Gunther and Sammy, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we got Gunther and Sammy. That wasn't good. It went the way you expected it to go.
Blood.
Yeah, I don't think Gunther and actually, I think we got Gunther and Sammy on Monday after that.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. Why is Taylor Swift popping up? Like, Bad Blood just happened. Like, well, I don't know. I'm real embarrassed that I don't fucking remember this card. Real embarrassed by that, because usually that's
Bad Blood. No, we didn't get. We got Punk and McIntyre. We got Cody and Roman versus Solo and Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, but we're not there yet.
We're not there yet. Liv versus Rhea, which we talked about, the Damiata. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor.
Oh, yeah, what a great match.
This was like the other highlight, but like, how many times are we going to beat Phil? Are we going to beat we're going to beat Finn? We're just going to beat Finn every week? Because like, I feel like Finn just gets beat and gets beat and gets beat and gets beat, and it never stops.
Yeah, I mean, but like, he's another one though. Like, he could be in a world title match tomorrow, and I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, the only other one is the main event: Cody and Roman versus the Bloodline,
which was not very good.
No, it was more of a segment than a match, really, if I'm being honest. And it wasn't a good segment either. I feel like this could have gone a ton of interesting ways, and it went the most predictable and boring way.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And you know,
okay, Jimmy shows up. Okay, everybody expected Jimmy to show up, right? Like, that was Jimmy was going to be there. That made sense. But from there, like, does Roman screw Cody? Do they win thanks to Jimmy showing up? And then does Roman screw Cody? Where do we go from there? We got Roman walking away like, well, I did my part. And then Jimmy being like, come on, man, you got to help him. You gave your word. And like, eventually convincing him to chase them off. And the baby faces stand tall, which is one of those things where you just get, it gives you that ick feeling. That gave me the ick a little bit. And then we got if you smell. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know that I'm ready to see him again.
You know what I don't fucking understand? I didn't understand why he's toting that fucking belt around.
That too. He still walked out with it.
I was uber critical of this during WrestleMania season. All right. And you know what? I chalked it up to it was WrestleMania season. Okay. Mom gave him that belt, and it was a whole thing, and Hall of Fame because Grandmama went in there, and okay, cool. But he brought that motherfucker back for what?
Showed up with it. For what? Like, he's been carrying it around for the last 6 months since the last time we saw him. Like it never left the shoulder. We don't know.
Why? So it makes absolutely zero logical sense.
So he could point and go, I don't get it. I don't know. Oh, the final boss is here, but we're all like staring at him, like, what the fuck's he doing? Like, they're just flipping out. Did he exist?
We're all looking at him because we're trying to figure out why he's carrying a fucking championship title belt to the fucking ring that says the people's champ when he clearly fucking hates the people. And none of it makes sense. He's heel Rock. He's the final boss. He should not be carrying a belt that says the people's champ. That's strike one. Strike two, he should not be carrying a belt because he is not a champion. No. Even if he's the final boss character, he is not a champion. This is where fucking people like my wife look at wrestling and go, this is bullshit. Because if it doesn't make sense to me as a wrestling fan, how does it make sense to a fucking somebody that's never watched a product? How does it make sense to a casual fan that you're trying to fucking just, hey man, like, let's just hang out and watch some wrestling. It'll be all right. What the fuck's Dwayne got a belt for? I don't know.
Isn't that guy
See,
in movies? What's he doing here?
yeah, like I can explain that, but
Yeah.
why has he got a belt? I don't.
I don't have a good
know.
answer to that.
This is fucking dumb.
Yeah,
And then it's like, yeah, man, you're absolutely right. This is fucking dumb.
you're right.
I can't defend these types of miscues, and that's what this is. This is a miscue. Okay, I don't think that this is the type of
The
behavior.
premature ejaculation is what this is. Let's be fair.
I don't think this is the type of behavior that Vince McMahon would have been like, yeah, pal.
That's good shit.
I think this is like one of those times where Vince would look at The Rock and be like, you want to fucking do what? No.
You gonna call it a belt? Get the fuck out of here.
No, Bob. We're not doing this, pal. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I don't. It's a poor creative decision. Whether it's Paul Levesque making this decision,
It's
or
not.
it's Dwayne Johnson making this decision,
It is.
or it's Ari Emanuel allowing fucking Dwayne Johnson to put his dick
Oh.
on Paul Levesque's shoulder.
For
I don't know
sure.
what it is, but this is a terrible, terrible miscue that ruins the continuity of this story. And maybe I'm fucking being too critical of it because I am a fucking mark, but like I can't defend this.
I mean, I didn't like it. Didn't like the finish. Although I will be fair, I like what came out of it with Kevin Owens attacking Cody Rhodes in the parking lot.
Yeah, but I mean that was predictable too, but like not in the manner that it happened.
No. But I liked it. I like where that's going because it's pulling Cody out of this bloodline thing.
And it looped Randy Orton in now.
Yeah, well, I was gonna kind of not think about that until this coming Friday, but yes, they did.
So we'll see where that goes. But I agree with you. The Kevin Owens thing is good, and like I think that we all saw this coming, and
at least it makes sense. Unlike the Rock's belt.
Yeah, because the Rock's belt makes no sense. It is a black eye on the exclamation mark on this sentence that they're trying to write, and we will call that the misspelling or the mispunctuation. This is the missing comma where the comma needs to live. I guess I don't fucking know. I'm just talking to hear my brains rattle at this point, but I cannot, in good faith as a wrestling fan, sit here and defend that imperfection in this storyline that still has potential to be good.
Hopefully, I mean that wasn't good. Maybe they need to. Are we just gonna like end up getting used to The Rock carrying that around and not saying anything about it? Are we just gonna like give him a pass, or is that gonna be the albatross around the neck of this storyline?
I think that that's just gonna be the albatross, the elephant in the room, if you will, and he's just gonna keep toting it around and
Like it's part of his attire.
Yeah, like it's like Cody's weight belt.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right.
And like for me, as somebody that tries to watch the product logically for whatever fucking sick fuck I am, right? That you try to watch an illogical manufactured world logically. I just can't. I cannot. And it will cause problems. And it's always going to be like, why? Why is he carrying that fucking thing? And maybe it's just me putting too much stock into it. But you got a free pass with WrestleMania. Let's I even give you a strike 2 with Bad Blood. But if we could lose that thing moving forward, that would be dope. Dave Meltzer had reported that The Rock had already informed WWE that he would not be available for WrestleMania 41. The Rock has taken to the internet, said Dave Meltzer's fucking full of shit, doesn't know what he's talking about.
I mean, Dave Meltzer is full of shit and doesn't know what he's talking about. So I wish Dave would shut up and maybe
He gave Hell in a Cell 5 stars.
maybe tell spill these beans maybe 2 months out from WrestleMania, where it's like when people are like really thinking because they're teasing it, right? And if at that point and at that point if you find out, if you've got a source that says Rock's not going to be at WrestleMania, he's not going to call you a dumbass 2 months out if he's actually not going to be there. So I feel like Dave is he's just jumping the gun and like rolling with anything anybody tells him. And he's at this point not a journalist because he's not following up. He's not confirming the story. He's just rolling with any rumor he gets. And more than half the time he's wrong.
Well, it's funny that you just mentioned that because when I was talking to the executive vice presidents of All Elite Wrestling, Nicholas and Matthew, and we were talking really in depth and seriously about potential storylines and angles. Mr. Meltzer had actually called Matthew, and Matthew did excused himself from the conversation and went and had about a 6 or 7 minute conversation with Mr. Meltzer, and then came back to our business meeting, for the creative moving forward. So
honestly, like the whole Wrestling Observer thing has sort of given me the ick lately. Like, I don't know if you follow, because I followed Brian Alvarez right on Twitter, and he's the most active on Twitter.
But didn't he block you?
No, well, he did, and then he unblocked me, and now the only way I can see him is if I pay to see his tweets, which obviously I'm not paying to see Brian Alvarez's tweets. But like, I mean, it's just the whole thing is just scummy. Like, I feel like they don't have any good information. They don't have good takes on wrestling really anymore. Like, if their take is good, it's painfully obvious, right? It's not like they have some kind of backdoor like deal about like, oh, well, this.
Whoa.
What?
I already told you. Okay.
Oh, I gotta
I don't care what you do on your free time. We don't need to be talking about BJs and backdoors. Okay. Like, come on, man.
You're going to get in trouble.
Let's keep it together here.
You're going to get in trouble. Just saying.
I love that she's in earshot.
She's laughing at you right now.
Because realistically, now that little dumb dick's gone, she's the one that I try to pop.
She's laughing right now.
It's always a good thing whenever I know I can slide one of them in there. And
you can hear her back there go.
Yeah.
Ashley says she knows more about wrestling than Derek.
Hey, Derek, did you hear that?
He didn't.
Shots fired. Well, he will. He'll hear it on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah. He'll be cutting the grass or something in the snow. And he'll be like, son of a bitch.
Friend of the show, Pat Martin, you guys should call yourselves the Backside Boy.
What?
No.
We're not doing that.
That doesn't make any sense at all. That sounds very detrimental to what we do here, bub.
Absolutely.
So
it's not the audience we're looking for here. We're talking about wrestling. We're talking about big sweaty men who are greased up in tights, slapping each other around. We're not.
You know what? Maybe he's on to something.
Actually,
like maybe we should just like straight lean into it.
We could open up an entire new demographic.
We could niche down even further.
Both for us and for wrestling.
Yeah, honestly. We could niche down even further.
I don't know that we're niching down. I think we'd be niching up, honestly. I'm not. It's hard.
I can't.
Which one of us is the hot tag, Pat?
Oh God. The hot tag sliding through the back door.
I feel like that's our finishing move, really.
Oh my God. The hot tag through the back door.
Yeah, that's our finishing move.
Oh my God.
I don't know what it is, but
Pat just took this off the rails real quick. Andy had to throw me one last shot, get some belts made like The Rock. Whatever, dude. Fuck that guy. Fucking Dwayne. I'll be eating out of his hand in a fucking month.
You will be.
First
You'll
time
be
he,
like, this is
first
the best
time he
thing
calls
ever.
Baltimore or fucking Philadelphia or Cleveland or wherever the fuck they're at. You fucking homeless daughter lovers, you whatever he's gonna say next. He'll have me back. But that belt though, bro. Tom's finisher will be the butt punch.
Just give him a.
Just I can't. What the fuck were we even talking about? This is my fault.
It is. What I don't remember anymore. What's next? We talked about Bad Blood. We've ended that. Let's just move on. I feel like that's the only thing we can do at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's really kind of all that. So The Rock obviously coming back kind of sets up some things moving towards Survivor Series. Big thing. I can't wait to get your reaction on. How do you feel about CM Punk writing himself off of television 3 weeks out from Blood Money? Huh?
I think he's hurt again. I feel like he's hurt again.
I'm sure he is, but
like
I mean, he's been so outspoken about this there in the past. There's no way that he can't. Morally, Punk will not do this show. He's talked so much shit about this for the last few years. He cannot, in his own moral compass.
Blood Money? Yeah.
Yes. That's why he wrote himself off.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's gonna fuck off for a little bit while they're in Saudi Arabia. Absolutely. He can't do it. Like that had to be part of the reason he signed.
Listen, if he does this show, if he does a crown jewel show at any time during this contract, during this WWE run, the internet wrestling community, the AEW fans at large, okay, the hardcore AEW, like they will nail him. You want to talk about a crucifixion? They will nail CM Punk to the fucking wall if he participates in any of these crown jewel shows, because the internet wrestling community will not, especially the AEW apologists, will not let that go unpunished.
No. Anybody that they will, I feel like they're already dead. He's already dead to them, but like they might actually.
They're not going to pass up an opportunity to fucking drag him through the mud.
They're going to absolutely want to kill him if he does. And truth be told, I'd be disappointed too. I feel like it's just, I don't like these shows either. And I feel like he's been so outspoken, as have I. But I'm not CM Punk. And he's been so outspoken that like he sort of has to just like he has to do this. It doesn't surprise me at all because I'm sure like he's hurt in some way.
I'm sure that he's hurt.
It's probably not a like I'm out 6 weeks to 6 months hurt, but it's probably a like, well, my ankle's twisted, my fucking.
You want to know what it is? You want to know exactly what it is? Huh. He's old, he's tired, he's hurt, and he works with fucking children.
Which he says while he eats mini donuts. Yeah. I don't know though. Drew's not a child. Drew is a man. And that is a man that I would not like to have to lift over my shoulder and hit with a chain that I've wrapped around my knee.
Right. And that was like the fourth or fifth GTS that he had given Drew at that point. And that is a whole lot of meat.
That is a lot of man. What are they billing him at?
I think he's like 265.
270. I think they billed him at 270 this time coming through. But yeah, he's a lot. He's a lot.
He's probably what, 250, 240? Probably 240.
Probably 240 in real life, probably about 240. He's what, 6'2-ish, 6'3?
I think he's like 6'4", 6'5.
Really? Anyway,
yeah.
Okay. He might be big. He might be pushing that 280, 290 range.
So
I'm not saying that's a lot, man.
that is a lot of men.
So yeah, and I mean you're right. It's like the fourth time, fucking 46-year-old Phil had to put him up on his goddamn shoulders and swing him around. He's 300, Pat says. So yeah, and that's like the third time he had to hoist him up. I mean, slightly assisted, but still. I mean, you're talking whole man, whole human here. That's like me getting you up on my shoulders 5 times.
Good luck, bud.
I'm just saying. Exactly. I'm just putting it into perspective.
Fucking put me in the fucking fireman's carry without a fight. What do you think this is? A goddamn one-winged angel? I don't think so. No, sir.
First of all, I would never try. I wouldn't want to slip a disc to like hurt us both, right? Like let's be fair. Like I might get you up this far and then we'd both go, ah! And that'd be the end of it. I'd slip a disc. We'd both hit our heads on something hard because
hey, listen, Derek still is our audience, a Vader bomb.
I mean, I feel like that's much better than me putting you in a fireman's carry.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's way less dangerous to everybody involved.
I might end up with a cramp or something, but like you're gonna need surgery and like
I'm gonna need a fucking cremation is what I need.
There's that too,
I mean, you might be in a coma after. I might drop.
Man fall hard. Ooh.
Love. Bye, friend.
Oh shit. I don't know, man. Lots of possibilities moving forward. I feel like with what happened on Friday night that they're setting up Jey Uso possibly somehow trying to be recruited back into the fold. Obviously we're going to get OG Bloodline versus new Solo Sikoa Bloodline and War Games. So that's what we've figured, we've thought, we've fantasized.
That's really, fantasize is a great way to put it because that's what I want to see. Like, please give me what I want to see. If you can make it twist and be fun in a way with like who the fifth man is, I'm all here for it. But like, let's fucking go. Like, I hope they don't do it lame, where like it's like, oh, it's the OG Bloodline and Cody.
Yeah, or no. Cody doesn't need to be anywhere near any
right.
of that.
And I feel
from that circle involved in that, it needs to be Sami Zayn.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it needs to be. And even, you know what, if it ends up being Jimmy and Jay, Roman, and then also Kevin and Sammy for 5. Just in a way, and then have Kevin turn or like Kevin be like, fuck you, kind of a thing.
I don't want Kevin Owens anywhere near that.
We might, we'll see. He's the only other, he's the one that I kind of feel like makes sense.
I'd rather see Joey Janela in that spot than Kevin Owens.
We were doing so well. I feel like it'd been a solid 6 months.
It's maybe been like 6 days.
Is Joey Janela still alive?
Nobody knows.
Does he work anymore? I have not seen hide nor hair of him.
Cigarette smoking angel on the side of the road.
I've not seen hide nor hair.
Saved him from certain doom and unprecedented peril.
Hold on, what happened to Joey Janela?
I'm sure you're going to hit the old Google machine here.
American professional wrestler. Oh, he's in GCW.
Yeah, allegedly. But Matt Cardona left GCW and nobody talks about it anymore.
Uh-huh.
I said what I said.
That's why we haven't seen him, because Matt Cardona left. Oh, and DDT. He spent a lot of time in DDT. Which I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I'm spending a lot of time in 101.
Uh-oh.
Turkey, that is. What a great bourbon whiskey.
It is very good.
Delicious and nutritious.
I don't think it has any nutrition, but well,
It's fucking 51% corn, bro.
Oh, because yeah, okay.
Technically, this is a grain salad.
It's more of a corn dip.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah, it's more of a corn dip.
Maybe a corn chowder, if you will.
Yeah. A very boozy one.
Hey, so Tom, I think it's pretty safe to say that we've got one piece of business left, but I just want to say real quick that if you're still here and you're hanging out with us, why don't you go ahead and get your Patrick Martin on, hit the old butt punch on that thumbs up button for us. That would be greatly appreciated if you could hit the hot tag through the back door with the butt punch on the subscribe button.
If that doesn't get subscribers, I don't know what will.
I mean, all about it. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, bub. I guess we only got one last thing. Tom, what's your match of the week?
It was the Hell in the Cell match. It was. I just
can I interrupt you before you gush? Right.
Yeah.
So I think that is the clear cut, right?
So should I not? And should I move
No.
on to my number two? Okay.
I mean,
because I have a number two.
I didn't want to take your thunder. I was just going to say that, like, that was the clear cut, but like, I knew that was the clear cut, and I was going to comment that was the clear cut. But I picked something else.
Okay. Well, man, was it good? It
was real good.
Like, and they just never stopped. Like, I feel like that's really my big takeaway from that match is that, like, it started. I don't feel like it went it went long enough. At no point, I don't know what the time limit was on it. It felt like it went adequately.
I think entrances and all, because I watched it after the fact. I watched it on the flight home, actually, from Florida to BWI. From Destin to BWI, it was like a 2.5 hour flight. I watched it then. I think it was like 27 minutes, because by the time you got through all the intro stuff on the pay-per-view coverage, it was like 21 minutes, and then it was like 48 whenever. So it was like 27 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. So I feel like it went a very adequate amount of time. The 20 minutes seems to be, at least for my viewing, a sweet spot for a big match, which is what this really was. And I thought that the build was great. I thought the payoff was great. I thought really the last few of these matches, either of them really could have won and nobody would have been worse the wear. I don't know how much I like Punk winning.
I think it was the right move.
But I feel like they can also then revisit this and Drew can get one back up, So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe they revisit it in a year or so, or a couple of years, or
we're definitely getting Rollins and Punk whenever Punk comes back after Blood Money.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's I think there's some Punk like goodbye matches, some dream goodbyes, and I think he's going to do what he feels that he should do, because he's not
a long-term deal with WWE. Like, I've heard rumors of like 7 or 8 years.
Really?
Yeah,
3 to 5. I mean, because
I've heard, like I said, I've read rumors that like 7 to 8 years.
I'm still thinking he's maybe got 3 part-time in the chamber, and then, but if he does another 5 years, it'll be commentary. It'll be long-term career type.
Yeah, but Paul Levesque is smart though, right? And he's not going to trot CM Punk out there every week like Tony Khan did to put miles on CM Punk, right? Yeah. Now, I'm sure a lot of that was Phil's doing. wanting to get out there and work and do some things. Not being in a wrestling ring for 7 or 8 years, but we're not going to see that version of CM Punk in WWE. It's just not a thing.
No, certainly not.
So he will be full time because he's there every fucking week. He's just not wrestling every week. It's like the old school champions mentality. You show up every week. Roman did it for the last 5 years.
Yeah,
great match though. I'm. You know who produced that match? Who the backstage agent was on that?
oh,
I do.
did, and now I forget who was it.
Fucking Abyss.
That's right, it was Abyss. I forgot he's been working back there a long time now.
Crazy, bro.
He's probably 5 years back there now.
Yeah, something like that. Since the AJ Styles segment. So what's that been when he was on the chalkboard? So probably about 5 years, 5-6 years.
5-6 years.
Good for him. So what was your second match?
Second one was Balor versus Priest.
Yeah, it was really good.
If it wasn't for Jesus Christ, they beat Balor again. Great match. I think both these guys, Balor's been at the top of his game for God knows how long. But I feel like Priest has really just hit that peak as well. And both of them, put their best feet forward there. And I thought that it was a great match. I just don't like how Balor's been written. Really for the long, it's not all Triple H's fault because he hasn't really worked very much under Triple H. But I feel like every time he does work though, he gets beat, and it's kind of an almost like, oh, here comes Finn Balor, he's gonna lose.
Certainly does feel that way, and that definitely a giant disservice to Finn Balor. But you're absolutely right.
They've got a title around his waist that he never defends either, like in the tag. So I don't know. It's a very like
tried to tell everybody that this was going to happen as soon as we split the tag titles.
Well,
nobody wanted to listen to me.
It's one of those things where it's like I really like the match, but at the same time, it like the match itself almost. And then this is why it was my number 2. Was the match itself really like shows like the problem with what they have to do with guys like Finn Balor, guys like the Miz to a different extent, but still sort of the same. It's like they're always near gold and they're always touching gold, but at the same time, it's like, oh, they're gonna lose on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Well, excuse me. My match of the week was also the Hell in the Cell, but like I said, that was like pretty cut and dry, clear that was the best match of the last 2 weeks. However, my match of the week, there's 2 of them for me this week, and one of them was Solo Sikoa versus Jimmy Uso on Friday Night SmackDown.
That was fun.
Man, Solo showed a lot of Roman Reigns characteristics, talking all that shit, way he controlled the match. Life was good. And
I think
really
I like how much they're trusting Solo.
Yeah. Especially now that Roman's back in the fold, I feel like there's a little bit more of an uplift.
I think there's a level of we need somebody once Roman's ready to retire, and you're like, you got 10 more years in you, bud. Like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. And then you ready for this one? Are you sitting down? My actual favorite match of this entire week came from Friday Night SmackDown, and it was Nia Jax versus Naomi in an impromptu title eliminator type match. And Naomi picked up the W. And I know I said earlier in the show about why do people try to work a match with Nia Jax and try to get a match out of Nia Jax. Naomi did absolutely that on Friday. I felt like that there was 1 or 2 little slip ups, but for the most part, man, that was a really, really well worked piece of business. Kudos to those 2 women, and those are 2 women that I am pretty consistent on being critical on. They went out there and they put on a great match, and round of applause to those 2 ladies.
Like their styles mix particularly well because Nia moves slow enough for Naomi to get her stuff off. Naomi's, I mean, like she's older now too. She's not, a 27-year-old, gymnast doing backflips and splits anymore. She's, whatever, 36, 37-year-old, Trinity. So it's, she's had a great long career, but at the same time, like, you can't be the same person you were in your mid 20s when you're in your late 30s. You just cannot. It's not
we've been calling for a gimmick change for years.
right. And so I feel like with Nia, it's a matter of like, okay, if you go through the match slower, she's gonna do better. But she can't control the match. So like people tend to get ahead of themselves speed-wise with her, and like it just fucking ruins everything. I feel like Naomi has a sort of natty level of like experience at this point where they can kind of move her into that Natalia role, right? She's not going to win a lot of matches maybe, but she's going to slowly be able to walk people through matches that are able to be on TV. She's going to show up every week. Nobody's going to get hurt during these matches, and she's solid enough on the mic and good enough at a promo and everything to kind of like sort of be useful. Like nobody has to think she's about to win anything or anything like that. Maybe she'll get a tag team title run here, or like a quick like hot potato title like type of thing maybe. But at this point, it's kind of a like you just kind of need her as sort of the old hand, and maybe she can't go at the speed she used to be able to go, but maybe that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was when they made the match, I was laying over here on the couch, and they made the match, and I audibly groaned. I was just like, oh, and then it ended up being pretty decent. So
I hate that Raw's over right now.
Yeah. That's a discussion for another day, bud. Because
I hate that.
I feel like you and I could talk about that for another 45 minutes.
We certainly could. But I looked over and I'm like, I hate that it's over right now.
So, I mean, I'm going to restart it coming out of this and, start the week over for us. So, hey, bub, appreciate you being flexible with me again this week. I'd really like to get that Sunday time slot locked down. It's just been a little challenging here in the last few weeks. So
at some point here in like the next couple months, because like October is one of those things where it's like every day seems to double book itself, and then like after Thanksgiving, you're just like, what happened? And there's just crickets because nobody wants to do anything between Thanksgiving and Christmas. But it's just crickets, and then post Christmas, it's like there's 2 months of just like nothing. Like there's just death. And it's like, let's go to the Royal Rumble. And it's the first time anybody lives since Christmas Day. So,
hey, speaking of, I think we need to have a conversation about that too.
The Royal Rumble? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
I love the Royal Rumble.
I think we need to have a conversation about the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
So,
I'm down.
Had that epiphany yesterday.
Okay, let's do it.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get the fuck out of here. Like I said, if you're still hanging out with us, man, we appreciate the absolute ever loving fuck out of you. I know that sounds negative, but what I need you to do is I need you to hit the hot tag through the back door and hit the butt punch on the subscribe button and the thumbs up button. That would be swell. That would be real swell. So much so that we might even yeet for you. So we appreciate it. You're listening to us on the audio side. Keep that up, man. That's a lot of fun to watch. And yeah. So Tom and I are out of here. Hopefully we'll see you next week at Sunday 8:30. That's the plan. We'll be here though. We'll be here. I promise that, unless Tom dies.
Can we not kill me off? Mid-season?
Promise we'll be here next
Jesus.
week. It
Just
will
kill
not
me
be a
off in
skipped week.
Just
I'm
kill
just
me
hyping
off
myself up. I'm just
finale.
hyping myself up, pal. All right. I'm just
Good.
rating you off TV like CM Punk before Blood Money. All right. Just calm down. Okay. Hey man, check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_fall WC. That's ONE. And as always, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next time. One Fall WrestleCast.